Hello everyone! In this episode we are going to build such a wonderful form validator with only pure JS with some CSS, of course. You can, for example, you have to write the username, you have to provide some email, but if it's not an email, you can get data. So next one, password should be secure and you can configure it, but it has to pass. So whenever it will pass, you can click submit and you are ready to go with the tutorial. So as we know, we are going to build that application. The only things that we need is to create index.html file, also style.css to style our index file, and to make it live, make it happen, we need script.js. And first of all, we will start focusing on index.js. So we are going to create some boilerplate with HTML. Right now, we need only link rel to connect it to our style sheet. Ref equals style.css and self-closing over there. We can call it form validator. Okay, and we are ready to create our form. First of all, we need a div with a name, a class of the container. Inside that div, which will align our form to the center, we need to create form with ID form. Class also will be form. And we need the form. And close our form. Right now, we need our h2 tag will be register with us. So it will be the name of our form that will be in the middle. Of course, we need another div with form control. Okay, I will close it. And inside that div, we need label with a class. No class, because label is with for username. And here we'll call it username. So it's all label. We need input. It will be type of the text. Also we need ID username, and placeholder will be equal to enter username, and it will be required. Of course, we'll have some error message, and we'll need for that the small tag, and it will be error message. And with that in mind, we created our one of the inputs. So we need to just copy and paste, and the second input will be the email. So it's for email. Of course, we need type text, but ID will be email, enter email, and error message stay the same. Okay, we need the next one. Form control, right now, password. Also, it will be password, username not, but password, and equal password. And we need also the type to be in the asterisk, so password as well. And the last one will be password. Colon field password, colon field password for password 2, and we can call it password 2 as well over there. We got our error message over there. Of course, we need button with type of submit. And here we call it submit, or submit form will be much better. Whenever we created our form, whole form, we need to connect it to our script.js. We'll create it right now, and after the div, closing div, after we form close, before div close, we need script tag over there, and it will be sourced to script.js, and that's all that we need to connect it to our style CSS, to our JS. But meaning our style CSS, of course, we'll just go briefly step by step. The font I'm going to use is OpenFast, and we'll just import it from Google. We'll also use the root, so it will keep the variables of our colors. So it will be success color, and it will be 2ECC71, and error color, and it will be E74C3C. And we've got our hash, not add. And with that, we've created our red arrow. Of course, as always, we need box sizing as a border box. And we are good to go to start styling our application. First, we'll focus on our body. We'll create background color, and we'll make it like more than very similar to white, but not in 100% white. Font family, we'll stick with Open Sans, as it will be Sans 30. The next thing that we'll need to display will be flex. Also, we need align items to center, and we'll center everything. So justify content also will be center. Link height will stick to 100. Viewport height margin will be 0. Okay, the next thing that we are having inside our application is that div with the container, and right now we are going to style it. So to background color, we'll stick with the white. The next thing, border radius, we will stick with 5 pixels. Box shadow, so it will be looking more depth. We need 0, 2 pixels, 5 pixels, RGBA, so red and alpha 2.3. And the last one with 400 pixels. And we got our main container that takes all our form. Form, we need only padding, 30 pixels and 40 pixels. So top left and right, top bottom and left right. Also inside our form, we've got our form control, and we'll create form control, and margin button will be 10 pixels. The padding button will be 10-20 pixels. Position will be relative, and we will stick all of that inside the divs, which are occurring our input and labels, and of course error messages as well. So also flow control, we need to label, and here we need display and inlet block, margin button to 5 pixels, and we've got our label done. The next thing that we'll have to create the CSS file is form control input. So our input will create the border. So the border box, the box will just make it solid, and color will be F0, F0, F0. Okay, I will just go briefly over there, and we see more. So okay, border we've got 2 pixels solid and border radius should be 4 pixels. Display, of course, black. Font family will keep it in inherit. Font size will keep it for 10 pixels. Padding will be 10 pixels. And width will be 100%. Okay. The next thing that we need to have here is font control that success. So whenever we success with our input validation. So input will be border color var. So we are getting to the variable and it will be success color. Very similar form control that error. It will be input and border color will take it to var and it will be error color because we've got an error. So right now font control small, we'll just keep it as var. This will be error color. Position will stick to absolute to make it positive. Position very well inside our for div blank. We need also to keep it the button element left, of course, and we need visibility hidden because whenever we are not handling that error, while not calling that error, it should be invisible. Font control that error small will keep it as visibility as visible. Form button here, that will be our button inside the form, so background color will stick to 8E44AD. Border will be 2 pixels solid and will stick with the same color as above. I'll just go there. The next thing that we'll need to have is border radius. It will be 4 pixels. Color will be white. Of course, we need font family here. We'll inherit it. We need font size 6 pixels. Of course, we need padding 10 pixels. And of course, width as 100 pixels. And we style our index HTML so we can copy it. So I need copy path, paste it inside our web browser, and as you can see, we've got our validation over there. But whenever we write anything there, you can see that we've got that error message. It just submits, nothing really happens what we really need. So to make it work, we need to create some magic with the JavaScript, and right now we are going to make it. First of all, we need to get all of the elements that we've got inside our index.js HTML file. So right now we get the const. We need form. It will be document and we'll get element by ID because each of that element, as you can see, got an ID. That's why it will be easier for us to get all elements, and ID can only be one. Const username equals document and get element by ID username. Also we need email document that get element by ID email. Const password, we need document that get element by ID password. Also we need password too, document that get element by ID, and here we are going to call password too, and that's that. Of course, you can copy and paste whenever you think that you misspelled. it's okay. Do how you think you should do. First of all, what we need to make. We can check the password. We can check the length. If there are the messages, the error messages, so it should not show the input, the error messages, the small one that we've got over there. We have to handle it. Also, we have to handle whenever the success will happen. So we need to create and add also that success outline with the call. We need also, we are going to use email, and there we are going to use the very, very important part of the JavaScript and programming languages, but the very, very, very unlikely, and a lot of people don't like that. And also we are going to check if all of the elements are in their places. So first of all, we'll start from the very start. So we check and show the error message. And to check and show the error message, we need a function show error. Right now we only create it because we need to provide the input and the error message that later on we will inject to that error message. For example, if something happened and we would like to call it in another way. And right now we are going to create form control. That will be the input, the parent element of our input element. So form control is that div that we are going to just change. And here we are just going to form control that class name. So whenever there will be an error, we need to change the class name to form control error. Is the same class that we are going and we are using over there for control error. So the input then will change the color. The next thing, we need to get the small tag, and to do that we just get form control dot query selector, and we are going to have small one. Small dot inner text equal message. The message that will be provided over here, and it will be the message like email is not valid. You need to have at least element of the password, but you are providing less. That's the thing that we are going to get her here. And whenever we've got our error message, we are going to create the success message. And here we are going to create the functions show success with input. Here const form control equal input dot parent element, as we are having at that element. That the question why we don't get the input over there, because each input we need to check separately. We have to get to that input via that attribute that we are going to pass to that function. That's why we need to recreate the input value with the parent element to work as it should. So form control, that class name, also we are going to form control, and we are going to have it as a success. And right now, whenever we've got the success or we just fail with something, we are going to start with the very and the important part of JavaScript. So And the most of the programming language, as I said, checking email. And here I will show you the Regex that you can use inside your application. But right now, I will just const read, for example, and I will copy it and paste it. Of course, don't worry, I will provide it to you because it's quite complicated to make a lot of typo you can do there. And in other words, it check if there is the, for example, @ sign and what you've got about after the dot. But before that, you need to have another elements, and that element should be at least, for example, 2 characters long. So it checks a lot of things that email, the correct email, should have. So that's why that's the very important to validate the emails like blah 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 blah. Without that and without anything, it will just raise the error. Okay, so if Regex, and we need to test it. Yeah, that's the function that we can use on that string. So we need to input that value, and we will just trim it, so we will just get out of all of the white spaces. And if everything's happened correctly, we'll just get the show success to the input, else we'll just show error and input email is not valid. So we are going to check mail with that function. So check mail. So we checked the first field inside our application, so we are in the good way with the another things. So whenever we check the most important and the most tricky one, we going to check the length of the input. So in our case, it will be the length of the password. So if function check password length, and it will be input, minimum, maximum, science, and here we'll just get the value. So it can be var value, input that value, that trim. We need to remove all of the white spacing from the beginning and the end, because with that white spaces from time to time, the length will be larger, but we need only letters, numbers, and so on and so forth. Of course, we can check it by Regex, but right now we only need the length of the password right there. So if value that length, so we getting it from that input, is lesser than minimum value that we are going to pass, we'll just show error. And right now we are going, as you can see, need the input and the message over there. So as an input, we'll pass the input. Don't worry, we are receiving the input. I will show you from where. And the next thing that we get our input, we'll just create some kind of value. You need at least, well, or we can create it with template string, write that, $, and my name characters. And if everything is okay, so at least the characters, but of course we are going to check if someone will not only click the keyboard from 1 hour and our password will have 1,000 signs. So we also need to prevent it. So as if we need to value that length as we've got Oh, max, not 8, as we got over there. So we copy that error message, and at least we need to be less than, not min, but maximum characters. And if nothing's bad happened, we need to show success to the input field. So we are going to call that function. Right there, we'll just check password length. Of course, you don't have to check only the password length. You can check whatever you would like to with that. But right now, in that application, we are going to check the password length. Okay, the next thing that we need to provide is the function to check if passwords match. So we will need the input and input to provide over there. So if input that value does not equal input to that value, we'll just show error. So that's why we are going to providing the first functions over there, so show error and show success, because they are very crucial to our application. Inputs to, and here we'll just provide passwords to that match. And as input to, we'll just provide later on password to. And input is because we are providing password here, and it will be very similar over there. Okay, of course, we need to have the name of our fields. So we need to check if our fields are correct. So to make it work, first of all, what we need before that, we need to check all of the required fields. So if any of the field is not empty. So right now we check if passwords match. And right now we need to check required fields. And here we need to function check fields, and with that we need to get the input, and it will be all of our inputs, so we can call it inputs. So inputs, we just get all of the inputs, and for each input we'll get the input, and there we'll check if input that value that trim, so we need to provide to get rid of all of the white spaces, is the nothing. We'll just show error, hey, input, and we need to get that field is required. Also, we need show success. If everything is okay, we'll just provide the input. So we got our inputs field over there to check if we don't forget anything. So whenever we are ready, we've got all of our functions to provide the correct validation, we should validate it. And that's how we are going to use. So form that add event listener. So we are getting to the form, and right now on submit, we are going to hold the function. And that function, first of all, remember whenever you submit the form, you need to prevent default as the first element whenever we are going to check our form to enable the web browser to reload. Of course, right now, check required, we need first, we are getting the check fields. So we are going to check the fields. It will be username, email, password, and password too. So that's the element that we are getting from the script that JS at the very beginning. Next thing, we are going to check the password length, and it will be password, and it should be at least 6 and maximum, for example, 18 characters. We'll also check email, and it will be email. And we need also to check. We need also to check password match. So we'll provide password and password to over there. Save it. I will go to our form. Okay. Reload that. We need to submit that form. And why does not everything work? I need to copy the path again. Get the path over there again. And it should work right now. Wait. It's okay. So whenever we submit, we need to provide username, and we will provide some user, and we need to provide some email. We'll submit, and we need to provide the email. So I will show you that we need to provide email. Also, we need to provide the password, and we'll, for example, provide very easy password. And right now, the password should be at least 8 characters. Submit, does not match. And right now, our form is ready to submit. And with that, you are ready to create your own application with that form. Form is quite a good looking, and you are ready to move on with your JavaScript projects. See you in the next episodes.